Good afternoon. Let me recognize first that we are in a pandemic. You are the mayor of the city here with Michael D. Tubbs, and you have a lot more important stuff you could be doing than talking to me. So I really appreciate the conversation, Mayor. Thank you.
No. I'm hoping to learn something in the midst of this conversation because, as you mentioned, it's a pandemic. It's unprecedented, and I think we're all just trying to figure out the best path forward.
So could you start with just telling us your story?
So as you mentioned, born and raised in Stockton. My mom, she had me as a teenager. I walked the stage with her in her arms when I was 1 year old at her high school graduation. But just my mom, my aunt, and my grandmother, they would do everything in their power to provide an opportunity and point to a path to understand that there was still some agency despite structural barriers. And they were always there to fight for me. Like many kids, I was proud to be from Stockton, but I was always told to be successful meant you left. I was lucky enough to find mentors in high school, and I was able to go to Stanford. And it was there at Stanford where I realized that a lot of things I experienced growing up weren't just the product of individual choices. A lot of it was structural. So it was after the murder of my cousin that I decided to run for city council during my senior year in college. And ended up winning, so I've been doing local government in my hometown since 2012. First as a city council person for my neighborhood, and then now as mayor for the past 3.5 years.
Why not stay in DC and become a national star?
A mix of like survivor's guilt and also a mix of just feeling really called. To your point, so many things were going right for me, and it was very tempting to think that I was just special. I just felt that it was like, this is what I'm supposed to do at this time.
You have brought hope locally to Stockton through things like universal basic income. It's amazing that you approach poverty in that way because poverty is a cancer. We know that it breeds crime. We know that it breeds fatherlessness. We know that it breeds miseducation and undereducation. What gave you the courage to do the audacity to try it and the vigor to see it through?
People also talk about this about Dr. King, is that he talks about how in the history of this country, America actually has given people boots and shoestrings through land grants, through GI. Like he's like, yeah, we
the
can
GI
pull people
Bill,
up by the
land lotteries. Yeah, absolutely.
So I view this in the same vein. I would love for people to bootstrap. Let's buy everybody boots and shoestrings and a floor to put their feet on. I'm happy to do that.
What do you want people to take from this documentary? And please talk some about your wife, Anna, because it jumps off the screen in one of the most beautiful, powerful ways.
Leadership can come from everywhere. And that I hope from this documentary, the idea isn't to say, oh, wow, Michael Tubbs is so great, but to really think how many other Michael Tubbses are out there in our communities that we're missing out on so many ideas, so much leadership, so much progress, because they don't have the same resources, opportunities. And how do we marshal the will to change that? This idea of agency, that it's actually, you can make an argument that makes sense to be angry and nihilistic and to point the fingers. And we're not all the way there yet, but we have more agency now, particularly as Black people and people of color in this country, than we've ever had, which doesn't mean things are perfect, but it means we have more tools at our disposal to bring forth the communities that we deserve to live in. And it's not going to happen by just being upset. It's not going to happen by just tweeting. That those things are important, but we have to get in the game, or someone has to get in the game and push and prod and understand that progress is possible, but it doesn't just happen, it's not inevitable. And then in terms of Anna, she's great because she's not from Stockton. She comes from privilege, but she has decided to make Stockton her home and has really engrossed herself as an educator, as someone who's actually lifted up the plight of women and has challenged me to be more direct in having conversations and policies around gender equity. She's helped me make sure I acknowledge the work of the women on my team. So she just reminds me of the strong women who raised me, like my mom, my aunt, and grandmother, who were all single, all matriarchs, all really tough and didn't really coddle, but push. And I think I'm a better man for it.
I'm going to let you close this out with a quick 30, 40 seconds if you'd like to talk about what you want the life of Michael, your son, to be.
I want my son to grow up in a country where what he looks like doesn't determine how people see him or how he's treated by institutions. And that he understands that he has to serve, that he is so blessed to be born to a mother with a PhD from Cambridge and a father who's a mayor, and that he has to take that privilege and put purpose to it. For him to be an example of what's possible in this country, provided we push provided we prod, and provided we lift up everyone and understand that everyone deserves just the opportunity to reach their full potential.
And in parting, thank you for joining us on this Culture Close-Up, Man Tubbs.
So anytime. Thanks so much for having me.
Love and respect.